Well, homelessness is a big problem, and it's only been worse by the pandemic. Up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, we'll take a look at two wonderful nonprofits that are doing something about it. What's next?
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Homelessness has been a problem for generations. Certainly it goes back to biblical times. When I last checked, I think Jesus was homeless when he was born. And to talk about the homeless issue here in Dallas-Fort Worth, some wonderful nonprofits have joined me in studio. We're going to start with Dr. Carla Russo to my right. She is with Dallas Magnolias. To her right, Jacqueline Griffin. She is with the RG3 Foundation and mom of RG3 from Ravens fame and I guess Baylor fame and the Heisman and a few other things. We'll get back to you in a second. And then finally, Regina Bruce with the Dallas Magnolias. Thank you all for coming on the show.
Glad for having us.
Well,
Thank you.
and we're all here together to talk about a wonderful nonprofit here in Dallas that has been around for a long time, helping with homeless kids. So, Dr. Carla, let's start with you. Tell us what it's all about.
You know, the Dallas Magnolias, as I've stated before, is just a group of friends, predominantly that just wanted to continue to do good in the community, but that wanted to put our efforts collectively together to be more of a forceful fact. And so Regina Bruce and Tammany Stern and myself and some other wonderful women together became the Dallas Magnolias, wherein we really try to serve our community, choosing different causes, trying to address needs as they arise, because certainly in this year of 2020 with COVID, while the world kind of has come to a stop, the needs haven't. And so we got together and figured out ingenious ways that we could still raise money and get things that are needed by so many. And that's exactly what we're doing here now with our current holiday drive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We're going to introduce Jacqueline now, and we've got a picture of your son with the Heisman. Very famous. You taught him everything you know. She was telling me some stories off air about when she knew he was going to be big. And you said when he was 3?
Yes, sir. He showed signs of great athleticism at a young age, but he also showed great signs of his academic intellect as well. And so as parents, it's very important for us to recognize that and start nurturing it at an early age. And so that's what his father and I did.
Wow. Well, congratulations. You raised a fine young man. He couldn't be with us today because he's a little busy with football.
Exactly.
But he does have a video that he made for us, and let's go ahead and roll that video now.
Hey guys, my name is Robert Griffin III, and we all know that homelessness is a very serious issue, especially here in Texas, with COVID-19 fueling the situation, putting families in a desperate economic condition. Honestly, it's heartbreaking to know that over 3,000 children go to bed hungry every night in Dallas, something that you would think isn't even possible in the first decade of the 21st century. We live in a world that requires great changes. And that's why I am delighted to be the honorary chair for this Dallas Magnolias holiday drive benefiting Vogel Alcove.
Wow, that is really cool. When I saw that, you sent that to me this morning, I kind of got goosebumps. I was like, man.
Like, woo-hoo to RG3, but his mom that made it happen.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And I want to just say for a moment, you know, RG3 is spectacular, right? We all know he's the only one to have ever won the Heisman back in 2011 through Baylor, just all of his accomplishments. But that starts at home. And she's done a spectacular job with all 3 of her children. And her parenting style, I made a post recently on my Facebook because I just so enjoyed speaking with Jacqueline at length. And it reflects, I think, in her son's character even today, how you've done and how she really took each child and really honed in on their strengths and their talents, creating balance and equality amongst them all, but really pushing them to be the best versions of themselves. And with her military background, for which we all thank you, by the way, both of his parents. But it's just really an honor to kind of induct her, too, as an honorary Dallas Magnolia into our sisterhood, because she's just so fabulous and so philanthropic. And, you know, to be the president of the RG3 Foundation, why don't you touch a little bit on that? Because you were already into charity and doing all kinds of wonderful things when we came knocking at your door.
Well, with the RG3 Foundation, we have 3 areas of emphasis. One is being that impoverished youth. The other one is domestic violence victims and their children. And we know that domestic violence victims can be men as well. So it's men or women. And also the veterans. And so that's really near and dear to our heart because we are a military family. With that being said, when Regina and you all brought this opportunity to us, we immediately jumped on it because we actually go around on a regular basis making sure that we're impactful in communities and helping others, whether it be children, their families, or both. And so with this holiday drive, you know, just knowing, you know, sometimes I'll step back a little bit. Sometimes you think when you see a homeless person, I never really thought about the kids. And so when you all said to me that there were homeless toddlers, homeless preschoolers, homeless infants, it really tugged on my heartstrings because I never really put the 2 together. I mean, I know there's families,
Sure.
but you just don't know about it until you hear about it. And so that's why the involvement with us with this holiday drive is so important to our organization because we want to be a part of something that gives back to the community and especially these children.
And we are very grateful for this, but I have to say, and I have to give 100% credit to my mag sis, one of my besties, Regina Bruce, who's chairing this holiday event for us on behalf of our little organization, because like Jacqueline and her beautiful heart in understanding this, Regina's the biggest heart in Texas and globally, I would say. I mean, she just has such intuition for really sniffing out where there's need, and better yet, how can we address it and how can we take it to the next level? And so, yes, I've been her personal slave 24 hours a day for the last couple of weeks. Sleep is overrated when you're dealing with Regina, but Regina has been amazing, and she's the ultimate consummate Baylor girl. I think she came out of the womb wearing green. And I just want to turn this over to Regina because really it was you who had that brainchild. We were talking about what could we do, what athletes, and you were like, I've got this, and so here we are.
Well, it just was so logical to think of Jacqueline and RG3. I mean, being a Baylor fan, I've known RG3 and Jacqueline for a number of years. I'm a sick 'em all the way, right? Go Bears! And so when we were putting together this holiday drive, the opportunity to work with Jacqueline and RG3 was really a dream come true. And when you bring that powerful knowledge and heart to an organization like this, can you imagine the reach? And here we are today talking about this, raising awareness, raising toys, getting bye-bye bags, which are little snacks that the kids can take home who may not have anything to eat during their time away from the Vogel alcove, and coming back with full little stomachs and ready to take on the day. I mean, these are the most vulnerable kids in our world. And during the holidays, we especially want to take care of them and recognize that during this pandemic, we really have a greater need than we've ever had. So the RG3 Foundation was willing to step up and join together with us. And so we brought our friendship and our love of children together in a very powerful and positive way that benefits all of Dallas, and especially these homeless children and families.
I love it. And to put a face on it, there's a wonderful video that we'd like to show you right now.
Good morning, Sam. How are you? I'm so glad to see you. morning, Donnell. Good morning, Isabella. Good morning, Ariana. Hey, friends, 2 friends, ready? 1, 2. Ready? 1, 2. Put your hands on your heart. Take a deep breath. Say, we wish you well. Twinkle, little star, what a wonderful child you are, with bright eyes and rosy cheeks, a talented person from head to feet. London, can you do one more, friend?
There's a big leaf. It's thirsty too, and you're making it feel better.
Wow, it is so sweet. I want to go back to Jacqueline because she has tears in her eyes right now. Tell me what's going on in your heart.
Well, it's unimaginable to think that kids are actually going through this. You know, kids are blank slates, and they come into this world knowing nothing. And I think it's so amazing that the people at Vogel are doing this, because they're teaching them something that I taught my kids. It's not where you come from, it's where you're headed that matters. Mm-hmm. And so as long as you have that structure and that discipline and that support group around you teaching you all of these new and great things, you'll be successful. Yeah. And so I hope they keep it up.
Yeah, and you touched on something earlier about the hunger problem, because often it's the schools that are feeding them, and with so many kids working remotely now, where is the food coming from? Do you want to touch on that, Dr. Carla?
Yeah, absolutely, and I apologize, but
yeah.
No one should ever be hungry or cold, but let alone these children. And as Jacqueline touched on earlier, we're talking about children that are 5 weeks old to 5 years old. These are the formative, most critical years of their life. And nutrition is so critically important. And so the food is a problem. I mean, Vogel, for all the great work they've continued to do, they can never have enough food because these children more and more keep showing up. And so how do we really try to put an end to this at some point? We don't know. We're working on it. We're trying to figure it out, and maybe collectively we will figure out how to do that, at least for this one organization. But right now, as it stands, Vogel is able to enrich these children with education and nutrition Monday through Friday in the early part of the day, and they do get sent home with these bye-bye bags that Regina mentioned that have snacks and some foods for them. But keep in mind, too, that the age I gave you, the range is from 5 weeks to 5 years old. They have siblings that are older. And so these babies are going home with their little bye-bye bags, and they're going to need to share with the other children at the house, and so it's a real problem. But what is completely gut-wrenching, and what I lost it on my tour at Vogel, was that on Fridays, Vogel actually tries to feed and overfeed these children throughout the day, because they know that when they leave Saturday and Sunday, they're probably not going to have food, and they're going to come back on Monday and be really, really hungry. And so then they try to, again, overload the kids with as much nutrition as they possibly can, and then balancing it out throughout the week. So for us, why we were so passionate about it, and as a team we've come together with the financial support of various organizations and RG3's foundation stepping in to help us, and everyone else that has provided funds and blankets and food trays and all of this, is because our goal is that at least this holiday season is to try to have it be that these families aren't hungry and they aren't cold, and that children do have food when they're not at the Vogel Alcove program. And that maybe through these efforts, and as Jacqueline so eloquently put it, it's not a matter of where you've been or even where you are right now, it's a question of where you're headed. And maybe they can see and find some hope even in the fact that outside organizations are coming into the existing organization, and that people really do care. And I firmly believe, as do all of my Magnolia sisters, that to whom much is given, much is expected. And we have a responsibility to pay it forward. And I said more recently on an episode we did here, you know, any morning that you get your head off the pillow, it is a blessing. So if in any way, shape, or form, any of what you're saying or seeing here today, or if you are a fan of RG3, Baylor, football, all of it, any of it, it really doesn't matter. Jump on board, whether it's that you want to support RG3's foundation and Jacqueline for what they're doing, hey, support us for that reason. And when I say us, I mean our movement, because 100% of every penny we gather goes directly to the Vogel Alcove Foundation. In fact, when you go to our website at magnolias.org, when you click on Donate Now, Donate Here, yes, you're on our page, but you will see that it takes you directly to the Vogel Alcove. We're just a medium to try to make it happen, pulling in our wonderful friends, what resources we have access to try to address this hunger and cold issue for these children.
You said it so well. We're going to show an article. I think it's a D Magazine article. The nonprofit Vogel has gotten a lot of media attention, but they need even more now because the need is greater. And
Exactly.
And then you have something, and I want to bring Regina back into this. You have what I call giving fatigue, because there are so many nonprofits, and they all have a mission and a ministry that we'd like to support. Talk a little bit about why this fundraiser that you're doing is so important.
Because we are filling the needs of the most vulnerable little members of our society. I mean, these children don't, as Jacqueline said, they don't have a slate. They come into this world and they are so vulnerable. It is our responsibility as adults to take care of those children. And it is our responsibility during the holidays to make sure that they're fed, that they're clothed, and that their fun needs are met as well. If those critical needs are not met in the first 5 years of their life, while their brains are developing, they will go into the public school system or the private school system without the skills, without the abilities necessary to succeed. So what Vogel Alcove is doing is providing a pathway to success in not only school, but in life. This is critical that we make sure that we support these children, because there are statistics that show that if you can't read by 3rd grade, that's how the penal system decides how many jails are created in this country. I bet you might not even know that. But it is critical that they get those basic skills, that they connect those dots, the mental health needs, their dental needs, their medical needs. There's a full-time nurse on staff since 2017 to make sure that all of those important needs are met. Where can you find that? There is not another center in the entire country that's dedicated to this type of development for preschool children. It's accredited by the National Association for the Education of Young Children. So not only is it child care, it is truly an educational center that will make an impactful, powerful difference in the life of the child from day one till the time they leave and the rest of their lives.
Wonderful picture, and I want Dr. Carla to talk about it because it's a picture of you guys with these big stockings.
Yes.
Yes. Tell us more about where the money goes.
Absolutely. So I want to elaborate on what Regina was just saying as I talk about these stockings, because, you know, not everyone is in a position perhaps to donate finances, money, but you have resources to things. So we have things where people that have businesses that are just revolving around toys, and toy stores maybe on Amazon, so you can get some toys for the children, or maybe you have access to a publishing house and we're getting children's books. So it's all kinds of things. It's not necessarily cash, also food coming directly from food manufacturers and providers. So we're open to getting anything and everything we can. And so these stockings are 3 feet tall stockings that we are going to be filling with just that, with blankets, mittens, gloves. They have those bye-bye bags, which are the foods. That's separate from that. In these stockings will be toys that fit. We're also going to have big toys that don't fit, so we'll be leaning the stockings up against it. But it's basically so that they have the joy of Christmas. They understand the joy of community and giving and sharing and just feeling like a normal, healthy little child that has stuff to play with and that gets to be like everybody else in their little class, because we're addressing everyone at the Vogel Center. And so the stockings are super exciting for us. So every child will have their stocking, and we actually have gone a step further, and we're setting up stockings for the moms as well. And
That's
so
right.
we're getting items for the moms, because mom's doing the best she can, trying to get her life on track and in order as she's trying to care for these kids. So the stockings are super cool. So if it's not money, but you have stuff, whatever it is, whether it's items that would be great for the moms or things that we can add for the children, please consider doing so, because again, 100% goes to these children. The Dallas Magnolias have no stake in any of what we do. There will never be admin costs or salaries or anything like that. We are 100% self-funded.
Exactly.
We open up our wallets and all of our time, and we are in fact, we've bought a lot for this. My husband's like, how much? But, so we're just doing it because that's where our hearts are at, and so I hope that this speaks to your heart as well. So whether it's for Baylor, RG3, for the Dallas Magnolias, or more importantly, just because you want to help for the children, please consider visiting our website.
Absolutely, and we've got a big event coming up next week, right?
We do.
That you've asked me to be the MC. It's such an honor.
And thank you.
Yes, Regina, tell us a little bit more about the event.
We are going to set up all of the stockings and all of the bye-bye bags and create a magical wonderland for our special guests. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we are unable to have the children present and their families, but the staff will be there and some other invited guests, and our sponsors. Cap Trust is our presenting sponsor, along with our honorary chair, and Jacqueline will be representing the RG3 Foundation, and several of our Magnolias will be present. And we're just going to have a fun and festive afternoon and present these wonderful things to these children, and hope that they are blessed with a very, very, very happy holiday season.
Outstanding. Well, we're almost out of time, so Jacqueline, we'll give you kind of the final word. What would you like to share?
I would just like to say that I hope that everyone comes out in support of what we're doing. Please make donations. These kids' lives will be changed by everything that you're doing. And I am so honored, and my son is so honored, and his wife, because we are the RG3 Foundation, so honored to be a part of something that is so worthwhile, because all his life he's been taught to give back, and that's what we call ourselves doing right now. We're giving back, and we want to continue to give back in any chance and every chance we get, because at the end of the day, the children are our most valuable asset that we have, and we have to nurture and pour into them so that they can be successful.
So well said. We're going to end by putting up a couple of websites. VogelAlcove.org is the name of the nonprofit that we're all here to support. We're going to put that up on the screen. Beautiful nonprofit. And then if you want to get in touch with the Dallas Magnolias, it's magnolias.org is the website. You guys are doing such amazing things throughout the year. Thank you so much. You'll have to all come back again soon.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
God bless. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.